Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Dominica's Prime Minister dismisses suggestions of IMF assistance for the island. That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Wednesday, August 2nd. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has defended the economic policies of his administration, and he has dismissed suggestions that the island could be seeking assistance from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. Winding up debate on the $918.2 million EC dollar budget on Tuesday night, Skerrit told legislators that the island's debt to gross domestic product is within a manageable range, and he says the island does not need the IMF because there is no fiscal unsustainability in Dominica at this stage. During his contribution to the debate, opposition leader Lennox Linton had said that since 2005, the Dominican economy has struggled to maintain an average growth rate of less than 1%. He said it was well below economic performances in the rest of the region and significantly less than the 5 to 7% required to generate sustainable employment and to reduce growing poverty in the island. Linton said that over the past 17 years, the Washington-based financial institution has made recommendations for the Dominica economy, including the need for improving the conditions for private investment, especially for export activities, as the key to accelerating growth. But the Prime Minister said Linton's response to the budget was lacking. Skerrit said it does not matter whether or not the opposition agrees with the policies outlined in the fiscal package. He insisted that every one of the policies outlined in the budget address would positively affect the lives of citizens. In Guyana, the businessman accused of financing an alleged plot to kill President David Granger is denying those claims. Nizam Khan spent over 2 hours giving evidence before a commission of inquiry. He said he believed Andrew Gillard, who leveled the falsehood against him in an attempt to avoid repaying money he had borrowed. We get more in this report from Travis Chase of HGP Nightly News.
Nizam Khan, the East Bank businessman who allegedly offered his neighbor $7 million to assassinate President David Granger, took the stand at the Commission of Inquiry probing the alleged plot. Khan denied that he ever offered $7 million to kill President David Granger, but disclosed that he had lent the accuser money in the past.
He never came in my yard since in 2014 and in park, and they keep questioning me, and then they tell me that Andrew Gillard made an allegation of I paid him $6 million to kill the president of Guyana, President David Granger. I told him he's lying on me. I never had no conversation in my yard with Andrew. Since 2014, he gets chased out from my yard, and he's lying. And I hire no one to do no such thing.
But when Gillard took the stand, he admitted that he had borrowed money from Khan, but instead of repaying the money, Khan allegedly showed him a long gun and told him that he could instead get $7 million if he killed President Granger. That gun in question allegedly belongs to Nizam's brother, Imran Khan.
Y'all very close?
We are brothers, but we don't get close together.
When you said that, what do you mean?
We live separate places, so we don't communicate often.
I'm understand y'all live separate places. Are you just talk on the phone?
Yes, sir.
How often y'all just talk on the phone?
Regular, sir.
And when you say regular, daily?
No, sir.
Weekly?
Yes, sir.
And in terms of the conversation weekly, if something comes up, arises during your weekly phone call, you all just get on the line and talk to each other?
If we just get on the line and talk to
Y'all
each
just
other.
get on the phone line. Well, they don't have phone line anymore. I'm just talking 2017. Y'all just pick up the cell and call each other?
Yes, sir.
Nizam said that when police from CID Ivleri took him in for questioning, he was later released on bail, but he still does not know who gave the order to release him. Commissioner of Police Silal Prasad is already on record saying that he had offered an opinion on the granting of bail to Nizam Khan and also suggested to one of the investigators that Imran Khan, who was accused of disorderly behavior at CID, be released on his own recognizance.
Several Caribbean countries celebrated Emancipation Day on Tuesday, and to coincide with the celebrations, one Grenadian attorney has filed an application asking the High Court to declare the sentence of flogging unconstitutional and to remove it from the law books. Cullen Campbell of GBN News has the details of that story.
Grenada's Criminal Code, Section 75, provides for a sentence of flogging to be imposed with a light rod or cane, which will not exceed 12 strokes. Attorney Jerry Edwin says this archaic form of punishment has no place in a modern democracy, and the removal of such a law is a step in the right direction.
We are doing what we can to ask the court to come into the modern era. Grenada's safety, security, the love of its people, we for each other and for our visitors, is not compromised by removing this inhuman law that says a policeman or someone designated by the court should bend a man over, take his pants off, and whip him for up to 12 strokes. I mean, I spoke to a gentleman whose life has been changed for the worse. One wonders, what level of dignity can a man come to after he has been whipped?
If the court does not accede to his request, the attorney is prepared to appeal the matter further.
If the court does not agree, well, we would appeal to our parliamentarians, our wonderful men and women that we elect as our political leaders. The Parliament has the power to redact, eviscerate this slave era law. So we have the courts and the Parliament. But we're lawyers, we are appealing to the court. We think that it is discriminatory based on the letter of our 1974 Constitution. So we are going through the courts for that process, and I think probably that's what our Parliament would want as well. They would want a judicial opinion. So that's why we're going down this road.
The attorney is also seeking to have the sentence of flogging suspended pending the outcome of the court's decision on the motion.
An injunction be in place until such time that it can hear the substantive matter, so that the magistrate's court will no longer, until there is a ruling by the High Court, impose this punishment on any Grenadian male citizen. I use the word deliberately because the Criminal Code, Section 70 and 75, restrict this punishment to men.
Attorney Jerry Edwin is being supported by three other prominent legal attorneys, namely Dr. Francis Alexis QC, Henry Pariag, and Ewart Lane.
Former international football executive Jack Warner has got another reprieve as the High Court in Trinidad and Tobago delays its ruling on extradition proceedings brought against him. The judge will deliver the ruling in September in a case in which Warner is challenging his extradition to the United States on corruption allegations. Justice James Aboud was originally scheduled to have delivered his verdict on Monday, but he adjourned the matter for a date to be set in September. Warner was released on $2.5 million TT bail when he made his first court appearance on May 27, 2015. He's charged with 12 offenses related to racketeering, corruption and money laundering allegedly committed in the United States and Trinidad and Tobago, dating as far back as 1990, related to his 2 decades as a FIFA vice president. Warner, in his claim, is questioning the procedure adopted by the Office of the Attorney General in signing off on the U.S. request for his extradition, which was made in May 2015. Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, a probe begins into allegations of embezzlement at the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. Stay with us. There's more news after the break.
Join the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and its regional and international partners at the CBU Annual General Assembly, August 21st through 24th at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau, the Bahamas, under the theme Digital Developments in Caribbean Media. Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Dr. the Honorable Hubert Alexander Minnis, will welcome delegates during the opening ceremony. Guyana's Minister of Public Telecommunications, the Honorable Kathy Hughes, will offer a keynote address on digital developments in the region. See the launch of the UNESCO-sponsored Manual of Social Media Guidelines for Caribbean Journalists, with guest speaker Jamaica's Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn. And hear from international media players about the new developments in digital television standards in Europe, the US, and Japan. And this year's Caribbean Broadcasting Awards Gala at the Atlantis Resort Paradise Island is not to be missed. Call 246-430-1007 to book your space in the 3-day conference and exhibition. Don't miss the CBU 48th Assembly at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau from August 21st through 24th. Discounts on flights to the assembly on the official airline, Caribbean Airlines.
Are you missing out? It's the summer of 60. Up to 60% off accommodations, travel, tours, and special deals. Plus, the music, the party, the vibes, the celebration of the 60th Carnival. It's the summer of 60. Yeah! Love Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda. The beach is just the beginning.
Take advantage of these special deals. Go to visitantiguabarbuda.com for more info.
An investigation is underway in Trinidad and Tobago into the embezzlement of $2 million from the Defense Force. Both the Minister for National Security and the Minister of Finance say they are awaiting the results of the investigation before deciding on the next step. We get more in this report from Kijan Haynes of TV6 News.
National Security Minister Edmund Dillon says he's awaiting the report from the Chief of Defense Staff to see what really happened in the payroll department of the Defense Force. On Sunday, the Defense Force revealed discrepancies of overpayments. 2 members of the TTDF are being held for questioning in Chaguaramas. It's believed as much as $2 million was embezzled. Dillon says the investigation will reveal if any procedures were broken and will give recommendations so it won't happen again. We asked him if he was particularly hurt given the state of the economy and the lengths to which government is going to pay members of the protective services. Any kind of embezzlement or fraud is a cause for concern, whether the economy is slow or not. Embezzlement is embezzlement, fraud is fraud, and I certainly condemn those actions, especially from a disciplined organization like the Defense Force. Members of the public commented on social media that the overpayments were a long-standing crime within the Defense Force, but Dillon said he had no knowledge of that. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Colm Imbert says he's leaving the investigation in Dillon's ministry's hands. Finance Ministry will examine the issue in due course, but at this time, he said, the ministry with the line responsibility is the Ministry of National Security.
The Firearms Licensing Authority of Jamaica is being accused of issuing gun license to people of questionable character, but the authority is firing back. We get more in this report from Krista Campbell of TVJ News.
The FLA has been under fire and is facing intense scrutiny following news that gun licenses may have been issued to persons who are suspected to be of questionable character. However, board chairman Dennis Wright is unapologetic.
The board has not been doing anything that may be considered corrupt or bad practices.
Mr. Wright insisted that the FLA was proactive and had asked the police to look into certain applications from as far back as February and June when a meeting was requested with the police high command to discuss the issue.
We requested again to be given any names that the police high command has so that we may do our due diligence. On June the 29th, we received a name to which the board immediately acted on the matter in light of the accusations that were made. I, of course, not at liberty to spell out the person's personal details.
There was also an insistence by board member Granville Gauze that although there may have been rumors about certain persons' character, the FLA does not act solely on suspicion. He highlighted that the FLA's internal procedures are integral to any decision-making process.
We have our own investigations department whose report is dissect, analyze, and review it as a body. But I was just giving you an example. If you're saying a man is a thief, we want sufficient material to back up that.
Yes, if you're going to charge and convict him. But if the issue is whether you should grant a gun license, should you not at least suspend judgment until you do know whether or not the person is a thief?
But due diligence is taken and carried out, madam.
However, several questions remain unanswered, such as were the rules bent to facilitate certain persons getting gun licenses?
The board has a responsibility to the stakeholders and the people of Jamaica. We operate under mandate. The board has done no wrong. The board has created no new procedures. The board utilized the systems it inherited. We have been doing a good job in ensuring that those who are supposed to get license get, and those who feel aggrieved, we have dealt with those issues.
National Security Minister Robert Montague has asked that a review board look at the procedures of the current and past FLA boards.
The woman who has acted as Chief Executive Officer of Regional Airline Liat has now been appointed to the position. Julie Reefer Jones, an accountant, has become the first woman to fill the post. Prior to joining the airline as Chief Financial Officer in 2008, she held several senior finance positions and has more than 25 years of experience in the fields of finance and management. Reefer Jones said she is delighted to be taking up the new challenge and looks forward to Liat delivering improved service to the region. She said financial delays are affecting airline employees, including the executive team, but the airline expects the situation should improve by the summer months. The Grantley Adams International Airport in Barbados remained operational during an incident on Wednesday morning in which a military plane made an emergency landing. In a statement, the Ministry of International Transport said that shortly after the 4-engine P-3 aircraft departed the Grantley Adams International Airport at 6:18 a.m., a distress call was made by the pilot when one of the engines caught a fire. The plane was undertaking operations on behalf of Nassau and was on its way to the Ascension Island at the time of the incident. There were 20 passengers on board. The pilot indicated that the plane would dump fuel to reduce weight and would arrive at the airport at 7:15 a.m. However, the aircraft was able to carry out a successful landing at 8:31 a.m. and following an inspection, the runway was declared fit for operation and an emergency stand-down was given at 8:42 a.m. There were no injuries. And ahead in Newsline Sport, TNT retained their title as Queens of Caribbean Volleyball. Stay with us. Sport is next.
Do you want a real Barbadian experience with peace and tranquility? A home away from home feeling? Come and stay at Best E Villas. We offer 2 amazing locations to choose from, Prospect St. James or Christchurch. Plan a staycation for your anniversary, birthdays, summer or winter breaks, or any special event. Best E Villas is located in close proximity to our lovely beaches. Call us now at 246-425-9751 or visit us at bestevillas.com and make your booking for the best in villas.
"60 years ago, we started greatness.
Now it's time to celebrate greatness. Antigua's Carnival 2017, July 28th to August 8th, celebrating great pageantry, mass, pan, calypso, soca, celebrating culture, celebrating the Caribbean's greatest summer festival, Antigua's 60th anniversary carnival, powered by Flow.
Trinidad and Tobago still hold the Caribbean Zonal Volleyball Federation Women's Championship. They retained the title after convincingly beating host nation Jamaica at the National Indoor Sports Center on Monday night. It was their 6th successive title and follows on the men's team capturing their 2nd straight title and 3rd overall 3 weeks ago. We get the details of the women's win from C Sports.
TNT won the battle of the unbeatens hands down with a 3-0 blanking of the Jamaicans, winning the opening set 25-12. They had a little stunner resistance in the second as the home team fed off the home support and kept it close, but still fell 25-16 in the second. Then, needing a win to stay in the match, the Jamaicans found the defending champions too strong and were no match in the end as TNT closed down the match with a commanding 25-10 beatdown to remain unbeaten throughout the tournament. The win is also a good confidence boost for the Trinidad and Tobago ladies as they face a much sterner test in September.
Fast bowler Kemar Roach erased any doubt about his form and fitness with a brilliant spell which brightened an otherwise down second day of the West Indies 3-day tour against Essex on Wednesday. Only 2 hours play were possible at Essex County Ground. Heavy rain, which started during the lunch interval, continued into the afternoon, forcing officials to abandon play at 3:15. But Roach made the most of the time available, putting on an excellent exhibition of swing bowling to end with 3 for 17 from 16. That's from 6 overs as Essex stumbled to the interval on 47 for 4. West Indies had earlier declared their first innings on 338 for 8 after resuming the day on 309 for 8. Wicketkeeper Shane Dowich, starting on 28, scored 44 not out of 67 deliveries with 7 boundaries. Roach then increased West Indies' stranglehold on the contest when he had opener Varun Chopra caught at third slip by a diving Kyle Hope off the 3rd ball of the innings for naught, edging an outswinger without a run on the board. He followed up by comprehensively bowling Dan Lawrence for 8 in the 7th over with one that nipped back before completing a superb spell by trapping Adam Wheater, LBW, also without scoring, with a full-length delivery 9 balls later. Slumping at 19 for 3, Essex found themselves in further trouble when pacer Miguel Cummings, who shared the new ball, claimed Captain Ryan 10, LBW for 6. Opener Nick Brown then managed to survive the Windies onslaught, batting 52 balls for his unbeaten 16 to take Essex to lunch without further loss. And Kemar Roach believes the hard work during his recent protracted layoff from international cricket is set to pay dividends. The 29-year-old, returning to West Indies colours for the first time in 19 months, produced a superb spell of swing bowling to capture 3 wickets and rattle English County Essex on the 2nd day of the 3-day class game. Roach, who had struggled with loss of form and injury, said he was now focused on delivering for West Indies, especially as one of the senior players in the squad. The right-armer, who has played 37 tests, and said, quote, "It's pretty tough to go out there after 2 years off, getting back into the frame of things and adapting. Test cricket is the biggest format of cricket there is, and 2 years off is a long time, but I've been working hard. I've done all the right things to be back here, so I'll just go out there, help the younger guys in the team, and just put some good performances out there." End of quote. Roach is expected to play a leading role in the Windies' attack in the upcoming 3-test series, especially as one of just 3 players in the squad who have ever played a test in England before. The Barbadian also played a handful of matches for Worcester in the 2011 County Championship, and he said that had given him valuable experience in English conditions. Meantime, West Indies opener Craig Brathwaite has praised his side's start to the Tour of England. He said the Caribbean men bowled really well and he was quite pleased with the knock Brathwaite said more important than the runs, though, was the Windies players spending time at the crease in order to get acclimatized to the English conditions. He said the West Indies just have to keep learning, keep getting accustomed to the conditions, and it should be good for the tour. The match against Essex is the first of 3 first-class matches in the lead-up to the first test against England, beginning at Eggbaston on August 17. Turning now to reports from the third-round regional under-19 competition underway in St. Kitts. Spinner Lee Louise's 6-wicket haul hurt Leeward Islands, but Windward Islands also suffered a batting collapse to leave the encounter in the balance after day 1 on Tuesday. Opting to bat first at St. Paul, the Leewards got up to 180, with Yuri Smith stroking a top score of 58, Demari Benta getting 38 and Jamie Cornelius 28. They were coasting at 118 for 3 before suffering a collapse which saw 7 wickets tumble for 62 runs. At the heart of the decline was Louise, who snatched 6 for 64 to destroy the innings, while Silron Williams finished with 3 for 26. In reply, the Windwards slid to 27 for 3 as seamer Kieran Pemberton produced a telling burst to finish with 2 for 31 before recovering to the end. That's to end the day on 77 for 5. And at Molyneux, Sabaya Batusing's half-century and Justin Gango's 3-wicket haul were enough to hand Trinidad and Tobago the advantage on the opening day of their third-round contest against Jamaica. Opting to bat first, TNT were dismissed for 153, with Batusing top scoring with an attractive 76. He was the only one to pass 20 and just one of 3 to reach double figures. Batusing arrived with the innings slumping at 8 for 3 in the 6th over and put on 31 for the 4th wicket with Christian Thurston and 45 for the 5th wicket with Joshua James. Batusing struck 7 fours and 2 sixes in an innings requiring 120 balls and a shade over 2¼ hours before being last out. Seamer Kishon Graham claimed 4 for 41, while Andre McCarthy and Shalom Parnell backed up with 2 wickets apiece. In reply, Jamaica ended the day tottering on 106 for 7, 47 runs adrift of their target. And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Ready. It's another episode when we out on the road. This is what we love to celebrate, to celebrate. This is not Hollywood. No, we don't come out of road. Drink, drink, drink. King Baba and Nikita. Hey, hey, hey. Every fact that a boy keep on calling me wrong name, but that's okay, 'cause that's my babe. I don't understand how wearing a name tag on me. You know what to say, you still calling me wrong. Don't get vexed with me. Don't say that.
Again, the major developments of this day. Dominica's Prime Minister dismisses suggestions that the government needs IMF assistance. And in sport, Trinidad and Tobago retain their title as Queens of Caribbean Volleyball. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, log on to CondaNews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching. Do have yourselves a good night.